Well, thank you again for this opportunity to speak to members of the European Forum. I've had the opportunity today to come to Paris to speak about the situation which emerged in the UK in August with violent disorder and indeed riots. By way of introduction, I should say that I am a serving police officer with the Metropolitan Police. In fact, coming towards the end of my career, having served for the last 30 years, I'm due to retire in November. I would say that the majority of my time has been spent in what is often referred to as community policing. And so any of the comments I make now, I suppose, are based on that experience. And I would make that distinction because I'm not speaking about strategy or tactics in terms of how we maintain public order. That's not my field of operation. My interest is more in the field of working in partnership with communities and with other agencies, other public bodies, statutory. I think I'd want to preface my comments by saying that when we talk about crime prevention, we perhaps are thinking about slightly different things. Is associated with situational crime prevention and the prevention of single acts of crime, thefts and so on, as opposed to the maintenance of public order. Now, of course, a riot situation involves both thefts and those sorts of crimes, but in the context of a breakdown of public order. So, to that extent, I would want to say that the situation that we faced in August could not really be attributed to a breakdown of crime prevention as I would tend to use the term. I'm not sure I can think of situational crime prevention opportunities that might have prevented the situation that we saw. I think that leads me on to the first question there, which dealt with the matter of surprise. Speaking for myself, and I think for colleagues as well, we were surprised at the events, more specifically surprised at the speed with which they spread and the scale that was achieved in a very short time. I also think that as the dust settles after these events, we might also recognise and might also in fact admit to a certain surprise that the problems were limited to just really 4 nights. And clearly there are many engaged in the process of analysing the causes behind these events. So I'm not actually going to speak about causes. I don't think it is appropriate at this stage, and I don't think that I am particularly well placed to do that. I think I might be able to pick out certain characteristics which are of interest when we look at this particular set of disorder. In terms of being surprised about the fact of disorder, I think we are always aware of the potential for a temporary and localised breakdown in public order. That seems to have been the nature of human history for as long as anybody appears to have been keeping records. I don't imagine that is going to change. So, can we prevent these situations? No. Can we minimise them? Yes. Can we minimise their impact? Yes. I'm pleased that crime prevention, and might I also take it that the question implies maintenance of public order, has a reasonably good reputation in the UK, or the UK experience of it has a reasonably good reputation. I think in terms of that reputation, I suspect that any aspect of it which can be counted as good comes from the principles upon which we operate, which we carry out policing in the UK. I'm sure many of you will have heard many times comments attributed either to Sir Robert Peel or indeed Sir Richard Mayne, one of the first commissioners of the Metropolitan Police when it was formed in 1829. I'm not going to bore you with a lengthy rehearsal of those, but just to summarise, it is a principle of UK policing that we are involved in the business of crime prevention and the maintenance of public order, and that this responsibility rests with every citizen in the UK. It just so happens that some of us are called upon to do it full-time on behalf of our fellow citizens. But in doing so, we do not abrogate the responsibilities that belong to all. I say that because I think it's important in terms of how we respond to those occasions when order breaks down or where crimes take place. And all that I say now does not detract from the seriousness of the situations we face, and indeed the loss of life that occurred during those situations. It is perhaps a feature of the breakdown of order that violence can escalate very quickly and that lives can be lost when that level of disorder breaks out. I want to speak a little bit about the spread, because that was part of that question too. The spread of these problems, which, if you like, originated in one small neighbourhood quarter of the City of London. An area which has for many years had its difficulties. It is an area of high social deprivation, a very mixed community, and it is also a community which in the past has seen significant breakdown of public order. And we think back particularly to the events of 1985, occasion in which a police officer lost his life in serious disorder in that particular area. The concern on this occasion was that events in one small locality spread over the course really of 2 evenings to there being quite major disorder in 22 of the 32 London administrative areas, or boroughs as we call them. Not only did these events take place in London, but you'll know also that there was significant disorder in other UK cities and towns. So how did that happen? Well, there are many inquiries as to how that happened, and I've said that I'm not dealing with causes. It would seem fair to say that media representation and indeed the use of social media contributed in some way to this spread. The distressing images that were seen on the news, both nationally and internationally, created very quickly the sense that there was major breakdown of order. A situation which creates opportunity for acquisitive crime.